Today we're going to be changing out the steering wheel on an E70 X5. I'm going to be upgrading from the standard steering wheel to the sports steering wheel, and I'm going to show you what's involved. You can actually do it for a relatively cheap price. If you play your cards right, under 150 bucks. It's going to cost me about 135 all in to have done this conversion. So the reason why I'm changing the steering wheel is I don't like the way this looks. I never have, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. I think it was kind of period correct, but you know, this dash and this interior layout has aged pretty well, all things considered. This is almost an 11-year-old car now, and it kind of still looks like current BMWs, but that steering wheel gives it away. That looks like an early 2000s steering wheel, and it just seems off-putting to me. So the leather's held up alright, and I have cleaned it a couple times. I just don't like the shape of this airbag cover. These switch controls, I've tried covering them with Plasti Dip in the past. I peeled off all the factory stuff, and that didn't hold up very well. As you can see, I've seen people wrap these in carbon fiber wrap, etc. It looks pretty good, but for me, I just don't like the shape of it. It's a relatively thick wheel, not that thin. It feels alright in the hand. These controls are well placed, but you know, they do wear out over time. The buttons are sticky, you know, that's just from lack of maintenance, really, not cleaning it up properly. But my issue was trying to find this heated steering wheel that's sport and, you know, relatively well priced, because I didn't want to lose that feature. But I'm going to show you guys how to get this steering wheel removed, and we'll go from there. So to start with, we're going to want to disconnect the battery because of the airbag being involved here. To start with, you want to put your key in the accessory position, lower the steering wheel all the way via the controls, and then pull it out as far as it will go. That makes removing it a lot easier, and then we'll go key off. So after you've turned off the car again, you got to pull it back out and down right after turning off the key. That way, even with the key off, it will stay in that position. So now we're going to go disconnect the battery. So we're going to need to come around to the back. We're going to be going in this trunk area. Now we have a number of Phillips screws to remove. There's about 6, I believe. Grab your wrench out of there so you can get to the screws. We'll get it out of the way. We will disconnect the negative battery terminal now. 10 mil on the top. Good to go there. And we'll just close this so it doesn't latch, and leave the tailgate part down so there's no chance of locking that unexpectedly. Now we'll go back to the car. Now I have the steering wheel turned at an angle that you can actually see a little indent on the steering wheel right there. If you feel it with your hand, it will feel soft. So what you got to do is get a small Phillips screwdriver and just poke it through. And there's actually a guide in there that will kind of force you to only put it in at one angle, so you can't really get it wrong. As you can see, it lifts right off once you get it right, and you can pull out. Be careful when you rotate the wheel that it doesn't get pushed back in. Now we got the other side here. Same type of indent. If you use the right type of screwdriver, it'll force you into that channel, and you'll have no choice but to put it in at the right angle. And then there you go. It popped right out. So we can take this out now, and we'll take this airbag cover off now. So now we're going to take this off like this. Now I got the airbag laying flat zoomed in on the connector. We want to take a pick tool and come in here and lift up on that. As you can see, you should be able to just pull the connector out after. Same story here. There we go. We've safely removed the airbag now. So we can set this aside now and focus on getting the steering wheel out. So I got my wheel facing forward now. I want to remove these connectors now. As you can see, just depress here, and you can pull it out, like so. This one just looks like you pull it straight out. I don't see a part to depress. Yeah, like so. That just pulls out with a bit of resistance. So these are what connect to your clock spring. And this car has a heated steering wheel and this control module here. So we're gonna disconnect this. It clips it under here. And this is just gonna pass through from, these are heavy duty wires to deal with the high amperage of the heated steering wheel. Everything else is fine now. We just had to disconnect this and the two connections for your clock spring. Now we need to take the steering wheel off. And luckily I have an impact gun. I suppose you could lock the steering wheel or have someone hold it for you to make life a little easier and try to just crank it off. But if you can get access to an impact gun, it'll make this a lot safer. So let's go ahead and knock that out with the impact gun now. This is a 16 mil. Very easy. So I got my steering wheel pointing straight forward, which, you know, will make things proper for when you're going to realign the steering wheel. But if you look inside here, there's actually a little scribe on the shaft here that you're supposed to line up with the actual indent of your steering wheel. So these are perfectly lined up now, and I'll be able to just make sure that the new steering wheel lines up as well. So let's go ahead and remove this. It's not pressed on or anything, you can just pull it straight out, and then be conscious if you have a heated steering wheel to leave that there. Just FYI, this is what, if you wanted to ever convert to a heated steering wheel, this is what makes things tricky, because you have a different control module, you have different wiring, different clock spring, etc. So it makes things a little tricky if you're trying to upgrade to a heated steering wheel. But on my car, it already has it, so it's easy for me. So I'm gonna wipe all this dust and crap out of here before I put this back together. Don't let this rotate with the car, with the steering wheel off. Make sure it stays safe and untouched, because if you turn it too many times, you can break it. So now let's go inside the house and start our conversion. Here's a quick side-by-side just to show you why I'm upgrading. That looks so much nicer and modern, much more modern. This, I don't know. I don't like it. I just never have. But luckily, normally this would be really expensive. I'm even surprised I found it for this cheap, but these cars are getting older and they're getting parted out for a lot cheaper. But this steering wheel was $79. That's a brand new airbag cover for $55. And normally this would be quite costly. If, like years ago, it was like a $1,200 transition to this, and even more if you wanted heated. But luckily the airbags are the same. So if you look inside here, it's empty. And we're going to take the guts of this and move it over into that. So I'm going to show you that process now. So here we are focused in on the old airbag. What we got to do is get rid of unclip all these clips around the side, if you can see that. It may be hard to make out, but I plan on doing that via a pick tool. And once I've popped it open, I'm hoping this will be strong enough. Get a number of popsicle sticks, like so. We're going to insert them underneath the clip. I may have to do this on my lap, but I'll try to do one at least on camera. So we got that inserted there, and we want to wedge a popsicle stick behind it to hold it out. So as you can see, it's wedged in there, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 to do. So I'm going to get all those done and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm done with that. Some of those are a little hard to do. You know, some of them are less different than others. Now we're going to take out these 4 10mm bolts. Now we lift up on this. That's what detonates when you get in an accident. We'll keep that aside. Now our focus is going to be on getting this off of this front cover here, this black plastic piece. So we got to do this really carefully. I think I'll have to get this started on my lap and then I'll come back when I'm almost off. I wasn't able to pull it off by hand, but I'm going to try a screwdriver now. See, I got it started like this. I basically put it on my lap and I got a screwdriver like this to actually pry up. And then I got it so that these tabs are past their locking point. So everything is clear now. It's just under a tremendous amount of pressure with these popsicle sticks being wedged in like this, and it would just take a lot of force. Now that I have all these tabs cleared, if I pull them out, it should just come off super easy by hand. So I'm going to try that now. Because this is what's creating a lot of tension for me. I needed them to get started, but now that it's started, I don't need them anymore. I bet you it will slide right off after that. They've done their job. Last one. Let's see how easy it becomes now. Still tight, but I got a couple tabs here that haven't cleared, just 1 or 2. So we'll get that passed and prime. Yeah. I don't want to disturb the shape in the bag inside. So that part is going to move over to the new airbag. And now what we need to do is get this out and move it over to the new airbag without disturbing the shape. So here's the brand new cover. As you can see, the shape here is the same. It's just this one has this extension piece at the bottom to make it look longer. And this is the upgraded sport wheel that has a smaller face. So what I need to do is get this out as naturally as possible and transplant it into here. So folding up this part here kind of gets it out of its locking channel. You want to take your time on this. Not like you can't just stuff it back in there, but I'd like to maintain the same shape. There you go. Have that waiting there. As you can see, that's our old cover. Now, the way they designed it, you start from the bottom. And it just not naturally falls right into place. Tucks in there just like OEM. So now, we want to bring this piece over and clip it back into position. So now that we have the airbag all tucked in nicely, we bring this piece over and sure you're clear of all the tabs. Not yet bottomed out, but close. Feels good. They all feel like they're clicked into position. Now we bring this over. There's a little cutout here that has to line up as so. Right there, it notches out so you can't screw up. Bring your 8mm nuts back. So that's that. We now have a sport airbag using the innards of the regular airbag. It's heavy now and it's ready to go back on the car. So now we'll go back to the car and put the steering wheel back on and get everything all connected. So we're back at the car now. I just want to clean up this surface a little bit. Now we want to reinstall the steering wheel and line up. I pass this through here. I got the notch perfectly lined up. So we can go ahead and replace the nut. We can start connecting things. I'll start with the airbag control and the steering wheel controls. Tuck them in where they need to go. Like so. That's cable managed that way. Let's connect our heated steering wheel. This goes in here. I think you start with the thicker one first, and then follow up with a thinner one, and then tuck it in. There you go, neat and tidy there. Now we're going to bottom down the nut. We got to bring the airbag over and connect it. Now, you got to have these in the up position. So we're good to go there. I'll check everything over one last time. And we'll snap this into place. And that's that. And here's our final result. I think that looks really awesome. Completely transforms the look of the interior. Much improved. And there's another video on my channel showing you how I restore the steering wheel. When I first got it, it was in good shape, but not as clean as it looks now. I don't know if you can watch that to see how to restore one of these steering wheels. But all in all, I'm extremely happy with that. I think it looks awesome. So we'll get the battery reconnected and double check the controls are working properly. Now we're going to try the heated steering wheel. Lights up normally, no issues there. See, what I'm not sure about is if these multifunction controls, this is from an LCI that doesn't have the multifunction programmable controls. I don't know if by default it will automatically associate and understand the language from this on the CAN bus or not. So I'm going to try that. Well, as you can see, naturally it worked. Okay, so the way around this, moving from the multifunction buttons to this, is As you can see, I'm changing to the next audio source. And if I press my recirc button, it automatically works. Steering wheel's hot now. The heated steering wheel's working fine, so I'll turn that off. My volume is working.
Voice entry ended.
So everything seems to be working fine there. So we're good. All I gotta do though, just so that works out nicely, is just go into my steering wheel buttons. Since this is a CCC system or pre-LCI, and the LCIs didn't have this, I just mimicked, based on position, what to do. So this is on recirc. I can still program these to whatever I want. It's just the symbols. If you want the match, you gotta change that up. No big deal. So all in all, it feels really good. I'm gonna go for a quick test drive and let you know what I think. Where you feel the biggest difference is right here. It's a lot thicker. The 10 and 2 has a couple notches, and especially here, this is super thick and it's ergonomic, very comfortable to hold. At the top or at the bottom, it's similar in thickness, maybe just slightly thicker than the stock wheel, but grabbing it here feels very nice, especially here, or just keeping your hands at the 10 and 2 or 9 and 3, or 9 and 3, 10 and 2, very comfortable. It feels very chunky and nice, well improved. Big improvement over the stock wheel for sure. So guys, that's going to conclude this video. If you want to switch from a standard wheel, if you have navigation, you got the multifunction steering wheel controls. As you can see, next source changed. And recirculation button right here easily controls that, so it kind of matches, and they look nice anyway, but ultimately they're still multifunction buttons. You can still change what these things do. Steering wheel buttons, because this used to be the star, this used to be the diamond, this used to be the star, so they still kind of follow that logic. But all in all, I'm good. I like them. Those are from an LCI. These are LCI controls. This is off a late 2011 or early 2012 car. So, and otherwise I have no errors, no issues. Since I had a factory heated steering wheel, it's working fine. No issues there. Gets nice and warm. And with that airbag cover, it looks brand new. All in all, a very easy retrofit, no problems at all. So all in all, I'm very happy with this. I think it looks awesome, and I'd recommend you guys consider it. Look for the cleanest one you can find. They've really come down in price lately, and it really updates the look of the interior on an E70 if you didn't have the sport wheel from the factory. So thanks for watching and good luck. Wow.